this is an exercise that I use to teach my dogs the off-balance flank. I'll do it in a smaller pen. I think I used a 30 by 60 right now is the size of my, medium-sized training pen, and that works out pretty well. So there's a couple of things you can do. First of all, you want your sheep, this is your typical balance scenario, right? So you want your sheep they need to cooperate with you and not be runny. They have to move, they have to be kind of still. So it would be probably even okay to feed them so they would stay in one spot. And then keep the dog off the pressure of the sheep, keep them off so that they're not moving the sheep around. Because the whole exercise is not moving sheep, it's about learning your flanks and being okay off balance. So I've heard this called the clock, the cake, the daisy, whatever you want to call it. I think the clock is the best way to visualize it in my mind because you can visualize the numbers on the clock. So if you pretend like there's a clock laid here on the background and this is 12 o'clock up here and then 6 o'clock down here behind you, 3 and 9, and then you can this will help you with precision. So what I'll do is I'll just start the dog flanking. Say I'll think in my mind I want him to go to 3 o'clock. Okay, so over here is my goal. I want him at 3 o'clock. So I'm going to flank him on a go by, and when they're at 3 o'clock, I'll down them. Lie down. And then I will flank them maybe to 2 o'clock. Way 2. Lie down. Way 2. Lie down. Way 2. Lie down. You can move them around the clock. And before I flank, I think of a number in my head because it will help with your precision and learning your timing for other trialing of things as well. I think of a number in my head, 2 o'clock, and I want to put that dog exactly at 2 o'clock. And if they're not at 2 o'clock, then I need to adjust my commands. I need to work on the dog downing faster, whatever it is. So that's what we're doing. And the sheep basically just stay right here. I've done this with my trained sheep, and it usually works out pretty well if the calm ones. And also a bunch of little lambs, if there's something to distract them and keep them in one little bunch. They don't usually run off when they're little lambs, but they're hard to come by. So anyway, the other thing you can do is back yourself up to the fence as well. So this will also help you with sending from the side as to if you want to send your dog from the side and you have your stick or your flag, you can make them go out to the edge and go around as well. But that's how I do it. And you could teach them to come in here. Eventually, when you start working your inside flanks, you can use this exercise to teach the inside flanks too. However, if you haven't taught inside flanks yet, don't do two things at one time. Don't teach inside flanks and the clock. Right now, you're just teaching the clock. So if you have a dog that's resistant, extremely strong, balanced dog, you're going to want to use your presence and your flag or your stick to really, really push on them and explain to them very clearly that they need to lie down. So you may have them just take one step, lie down. One step, lie down. Go by, lie down. Go by, lie down. Go by, lie down. Because they're going to want to get sucked in, especially if you start them here. At some point they get into that vortex and they just get sucked around to balance again, right? So then this can be very stressful for dogs that are very strong balancing dogs. So you're going to want to do this for a few minutes a day, but don't do it too long because you don't want to burn them out. You don't want to stress them out too much. And you start out and then getting at least a down off balance and good dog, and then you can reward them by letting them come back to balance and fetch to you for a minute to release the pressure on the dog. But that's how I teach my off balance flanks because then you should also be teaching them walk up. So when you get on to like 3 o'clock, you have down, and then you can teach them to walk up straight in, and then call them off or send them on a different flank out again. So there's a lot of ways you can use this exercise in a small pen. So I hope that helps. Good luck on your training.